Today we are going to solve LeetCode problem number 3110 or 3110, score of a string. We are given a string S. The score of a string is defined as the sum of the absolute difference between the ASCII values of adjacent characters. So for the first example we are given a string hello. We have to get the difference of E and H, the ASCII values of E and H, and then we have to add it with the difference of L and E, then L, L, finally O and L. The difference should be absolute value, which is positive. So we are not adding negative values here, but we are adding positive values. The difference of ASCII values of H and E is H minus E, which is 104 minus 101. We get 3 here. Then we are subtracting E and L. So the ASCII value of E is 101 and that of L is 108. We will get minus 7 here, but we have to add the absolute value, so we will add plus 7 here. Similarly, we are subtracting L and L, which will result in 0, and finally L and O, which is nothing but negative of 3, but we are adding the positive difference. So we will add positive 3 here, and final answer will result in 13. Similarly, for the second string, we are subtracting Z and A, so we get 25, and then we are subtracting A and Z. We get negative of 25, but we are only using absolute value, so we will convert that negative into positive and then add 25 again, and we will get the answer as 50. Let's discuss the code snippet here. We are given a class solution with a public method called score of string defined in it, which is of integer type. Why integer? Because we have to return sum of the absolute difference of adjacent letters of a string. So here we are given the parameter string S, which is basically our input string. So for this question, we will first of all define a variable score to store our score, of course. Then we will define a variable to store our difference, and I'll run a for loop to traverse over my string int I equals 1. So why have I taken int I equals 1 is because I want my difference to be current minus the previous. So I want the difference between my current letter and my previous letter. So I'll access the 0th index till I less than s dot length and I plus plus. We are incrementing I, and then my difference will be absolute, which is inbuilt function I'm using here. Absolute difference between my s of I and s of I minus 1. So here we are getting the 0th index already. So I have initialized my I from I equals 1. Then we will add it in our code. Then 4 plus equals to def. And finally, we will return score. The time complexity here will be order of n because we are traversing over our entire string. The time complexity is order of n, and space complexity would be constant because we are only using two variables